Welcome to another Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I am Benjamin, and before I get started on today's banknote, which is a 2000 Shilingi, I wanted to thank everybody for noticing my absence and for sending out prayers for my recovery of health. I did come down with COVID, and when it was coupled with my diabetes, it caused me enough problems that I was admitted into the COVID ward here in Oklahoma. It was a horrible experience, but it was made better by the kindness of the nurses and the doctors who took care of me. I have been out of the hospital now for a couple of weeks, and my energy is returning. And with my energy returning, my interest is returning in doing a little bit more work with my channel, Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. So those of you who become new subscribers, thank you, and I hope you enjoy all the new content that I produce for this channel. Now, like I said, I was sharing with you a Uganda 2000 shillings, and I'm going to go into a little bit about the security features on the note before I go into detail about the design. I also want to, share my resources that I use that you could use to find out the same information or garner further information for this banknote. Like I said, this is a Uganda 2000 shillings. It measures 135 by 66 millimeters, and it is a product of Thomas Delarue. It is a predominantly blue note, although you can see multiple colors here on the underprint. Over here, some greens and yellows. The standard catalog of World Paper Money calls this a PIC 50, while the banknote book calls this a B155. And I used Wikipedia for additional information. In all fairness, Wikipedia also uses standard catalog of World Paper Money and the banknote book. Now, you can't really see them here unless you hold them up to the light, but in the four corners of this note is the watermark called cornerstones, and they're just ridges of line that are designed to strengthen the paper and have it hold up a little bit better in the tropical environment that is Uganda. The serial numbers are horizontal in red over here and vertical over here in ascending size digits. So that is another security device. Let's see, you might be able to see it easier whenever I turn it over and share some of the details on the other side. This is a color shifting ink pattern. When you angle it, it changes from this violet to a darker color. And over here we have what are little champagne bubbles or Omron constellations or Orion's belt. Those are designed to turn off copy machines and keep this note from being easily duplicated. Now over here underneath the 2000, right here, you have this concentric ring design, which may have something to do with the equator and the earth and the sun, but it is an offset register. On the opposite side of the notes at the same place, you also will have a white and a blue section concentric set of circles. Now, where it's blue here, it'll be white, and where it's white here, it'll be blue, but when you hold it up to the light, it'll make one complete image with one complete color. And then over here we have the watermark area, and it's a beautiful watermark of that gorgeous crested crane that you see on African notes. So let's go ahead and flip this note right quick, and we'll look at the security effects on the back side of the note. Like I said, here's the offset register from the previous side right here, and over here you have embossed printings from the other side of the note. I know that seems a little old-fashioned, but I used to be a bank teller, and when I would count money and pull it through my fingers, if I didn't feel any embossing even on U.S. notes, I would do a double check, because many times that was a signal that there was some counterfeiting going on. All right, now let's take a look at some of the other features found on this side of the note. Here's the champagne bubbles, or the Orion belt, or the Omron, whatever they're called in the night sky. I said what it was earlier. The champagne bubbles, the Orion belt, or the Omron constellations. That's the word that was escaping me. And then there's microprinting on some of these fish here. But if you take a look right here, we have an interrupted security strip that when you hold it up to the light has demetallized sections of design that alternate with UOB, which is, or BOU, Bank of Uganda. And so a nice assortment of modern anti-counterfeiting devices appear on this note. Now I'm going to turn the note back over, and we're going to look at the design features. It's a beautiful note, and it's in the current family of notes of Uganda. So let's get started with it. On the face, you can find the profile of a man with a Karamojong headdress. And I don't know about you, but I looked for hours on this note. And when I say hours, I mean minutes. But I couldn't find the man with the headdress anywhere until I stepped back from the note and looked at it in a macro way instead of a micro way. And over here on the left-hand side, you see the outline of the image of this man with a Karamojong headdress. Nose, lips, forehead, and hairstyle. You also see a view of the Nile here. And you see a monument for the source of the Nile that can be found if you visit the modern region of Njera. And I hope I'm saying these words right, but I don't hold out any hope that I am. Now let's take the note and look at the back. And on the back of this note, we see a much simpler design, but if you look closely, that same profile of the man wearing a Karamojong headdress can be seen on the back here, right here in this section right here. Same profile, same headdress. And in addition, there is the sun. There is a map of the nation that shows the equator. And there is predominantly featured on the back of this note a tilapia fish and the National Independence Monument that can be found in Kampala. Now let's go into a little more detail about these designs. The Karamojong are an agro-pastoral people. The Nile River, which was seen on the other side, is considered to have a source in Lake Victoria, which is found here in Uganda. And the fish, or the tilapia, is a kind of name for and I apologize again for this pronunciation, the only fish I ever had as pets were goldfish, so that's my excuse. It's a cichlid or a cichlid, maybe a cichlid, and it is a fish that has been cultivated since ancient times in Egypt, in the Middle East, and in Africa. It is actually a symbol of rebirth in Egyptian art. Now, tilapia is one of 3 main types of fish caught in the Sea of Galilee, and that's where I first encountered this fish. I encountered this fish in the Sea of Galilee at a little restaurant where I ordered St. Peter's fish, which is what this fish is called. This is a mouth brooder, and so that means when there's problems, it'll open up its mouth and its little babies will swim into its mouth. It'll also pick up things and hold them in its mouth. And for that reason, this is the fish that had the coin in its mouth when Jesus had his disciple reach over and catch the fish, and they opened up the mouth, and there was the temple tax in its mouth. A common, not too common, but not unheard of either. Now, the tilapia is pretty much an aquatic chicken. They love some duckweed, and they are great for mosquito control. They can be farmed with shrimp in a symbiotic setting. Interestingly, I read that in Brazil, the skin of the tilapia is being trialed to help in the treatment of those who are suffering from burn victims. So, lots of gifts from this critter. Now, collectors of rivers, the Nile, monuments, tilapia, fish, the sun, headdresses, and maps will want this note for their collection. I hope that you will visit, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel, Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. I want to thank you again for your support in my time of illness and your support now that I've come back and new content is being created. I am Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.